So today we'll be going over One Piece Chapter 13 review titled Treasure. Hello everyone. Make sure to like and subscribe for more of this daily One Piece content, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. So for the cover page we have Luffy and Nami chilling by like kind of like a shore somewhere, and they kind of fished up a turtle by a fish. And Zoro's just in the background just kind of taking a nap. Makes sense. I like this cover page. So on to the main chapter. You just gotta hear whoa. And Luffy just kind of go like, hmm? And then it's mainly Boodle saying, "How are you still alive, kid?" And Luffy's like, "Is that a bad thing?" And Nami says, "Yeah, how in the world are you alive?" And Luffy just kind of like thinking to himself as he's like seeing Nami and Boodle just in absolute shock. And then you see Nami saying, "You are blasted clear through an entire house and don't have a scratch on you. It's freakish." And Luffy's like, "I'm fine with that." And Boodle just kind of says, "Why are you even here anyway? What's your connection to those pirates?" And Luffy says, "If you need a reason, I just came up with one. I want that map to the Grand Line and a navigator." And then it kind of cuts to hearing just woof woof. And then it's Monji, who was introduced in the last chapter, on top of Richie, being like, "What's with the dog?" He's like, "Is it trying to keep us from entering that store?" And Shushu just keep going, "Wolf, wolf, wolf." And Moji's like, "Don't tell me that you're a guard dog for this tiny shop." And then Richie just kind of like is like growling at like Shushu, but Shushu ain't backing down. He's still just going wolf, wolf, wolf. And then Richie just slashes the dog, and the dog just like Shushu just kind of goes away with like blood kind of like spewing out of it. But Shushu is not backing down. He got up as he sees Richie just like stepping onto the porch, and he's just barking like savagely barking. And then it cuts to a little flashback where it just kind of sees like the owner of Shushu, and Shushu standing in front of the pet food store, and the guy says, "Look, Shushu, it's finished. Starting today, let's work together to make this pet's food shop a success." And Shushu just going wolf. And then Shushu jumps and bites on the line on Richie, and Richie just kind of looks back before he just flings his paw and slams it into like a window, and Shushu just drops. And then continues more of this flashback where the store owner is saying sales are slow, running a business sure is tough. And here Shushu just going wolf. And then you see Boodle coming up saying, "Looks like you have it rough, alright. I'll eat it. Sell it to me." And then the owner's like, "Haha, I guess if you look like a dog, you might as well eat dog food, huh, Mayor?" And then Boodle's like, "I was trying to give you a little sympathy, idiot." But Shushu is not backing down. He got up, and blood's more covering his more of his white fur, his skin stained, but he's still just going, just barking at Richie. And then Monji's just kind of like, "Oh, brave. He's still standing his ground. What is your favorite food in there?" And then you see the owner. He's just like, him and Shushu are kind of chilling in a hot tub. And he just kind of says, "We sold 100 more boxes today." And here's Shushu just going, wolf. And all of a sudden, the owner's just yelling, "Shushu, I told you not to eat any more of the merchandise." And then he kind of goes to another scene where like a lady's like petting the dog. And then the owner's just like, "Haha, he's my pride and joy." And then the owner just kind of says, "You're in charge while I'm in the hospital, Shushu." Showing that he does understand that his owner is like in the hospital and he was set in charge of the store. And then Richie's just growling, but Shushu is still like lunging, just being like just barking. And then it kind of cuts to back outside. And then all of a sudden, like Boodle's like, "I'm gonna go check on Zoro. I think that weird costume guy was looking for him." And this is what Luffy's saying. And then Boodle's like, "Stop, you fool! That lion will eat you for sure." And then you just kind of see Richie just walking away with like food in his mouth. And then like Momochi's just like, "That damn dog bit me. Look at this. I'm bleeding." And then Momochi's just kind of like, "The shopkeeper sure has some nerve leaving a guard dog to stop me." And then Luffy just kind of walks, and then he just hears wolf, 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 wolf. And then he just kind of like notices his eyes kind of like grew wide as from what he saw, because Shushu sees the house is on the whole shop's on fire, and he's just barking like manically as he's just like seeing this wolf, wolf. And Luffy just standing there just like looking at like the fire, and then like he's just kind of barking, and then Luffy kind of like remembers like Boodle's words. He says, "It must be because this store is like a treasure to Shushu." and Luffy, and then I just keep seeing the fire, and then like Choo sees like barking, just like wolf, 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 and then like Morbu World kind of shows saying it is a re- remembrance of his beloved master, and Luffy just keeps staring, just hearing the barks of the dog, and then like he kind of keeps going, and Boodle's words kind of reminisce in Luffy's mind, saying, "I think that's why he continues to guard it," and then it just kind of shows like a more of a zoom in of Luffy's eyes as he's just like hearing, seeing the fire and hearing the wolf, and then it kind of cuts, and then you just see Luffy just standing and just staring down like Monji, at least from the distance. And then Monji's just kind of like, "Hey, it's you, but didn't I already kill you?" And then Luffy just kind of just sits there with his hands folded. He's just kind of like, "You can't kill me that easily. I'm a rubber man after all." And Monji's like, "Rubber man? Now you've got quite some luck. I'll give you that. But I think you must have hit your head. I mean, you're talking nonsense." And then Monji just kind of hops up and kind of points and saying, "Showing your face here again was a huge mistake. Chomp his head off." And then Richie just kind of goes. And then Luffy just kind of goes, "Do you think of Puny Lion?" As he kind of like crosses his arms, just kind of like under. And he just kind of goes, "Can kill me." And he kind of fires his arms out as he just kind of like formed like a twist with his hands. And then Moji just kind of like, "What the? What the? His hands!" As Luffy just kind of like grabs like Richie by his face, but his hands are kind of like crossed and all like twisted up. And then Luffy just kind of goes, "Gomu Gomu no." And then it's as he's like his arms begins to spin around as he's like saying it. And then in here it says tush Toshi, but in one of the notes, Toshi means hammer, so it's Gomu Gomu no hammer. So Luffy basically just grabs his lion, fully twists him around, and just slams him on like his like neck and head area around there. And then Moji just like is just shocked. He's like, "Richie," and he's just yelling, "What? Just the hell? What? Just what the hell are you?" And then Luffy just kind of gets up and says, "I ate the Gomu Gomu fruit when I was a kid." And Moji's just like, "Gomu Gomu fruit? Then you have a devil fruit power just like Captain Buggy." And keep in mind, this man sees his lion's head like is like punk. It broke the concrete. His head's in it, and his ass is like up in the air. And then Monji just stepping back. He's like, "Oh, okay. I'll give you as much treasure as you want. Please forgive me. I'm sorry." Like this man is just startled now. And then Luffy just kind of turns and just kind of says, "There's no more need to apologize. Nothing you could say, nothing you can possibly do that will bring back that dog's treasure back now." Like Luffy is very pissed. Like even in the background, you see like Shushu just like crying and like barking as the store is burned down. And then Luffy just on the next page, you just see just anger just in his face. He says, "I came back here to kick your ass." And then just like all of a sudden, like they're from a distance, and all of a sudden, like Luffy's hand just stretched up and just grabs like Monji by the collar, and then even Monji's just like, "Ah, he's stretching again." And then Luffy just kind of says, "Learn your lesson," as he like his hands like cocked back and his foot's up in the air. And even Monji's like, "Ah, stop!" As he just begins to like go towards Luffy with the stretch. And then Moji just screams, "Help me!" before Luffy just decks him right in the face and just punches him in the ground, knocking him out. And then it cuts to kind of like Shushu seeing like the burned remains of like the pet store as he just kind of sits there, just like anger, pain, his tongue's out. And then it pans out to see Nami and Budoro just looking at it, at the remains. And Nami just kind of says, "They're all the same. Pirates are all the same." They just casually take everything people hold dear, and Boodle's just kind of sitting there and just kind of thinking to himself, being quiet. And Luffy just walks up and just says, "Hmm." After hearing Boodle says, "I see you're alive, pirate." And then Nami says, "I was certain you would have been eaten by a lion." And Boodle's like, "Hey, how can you say that?" And then Nami just kind of yells, "I'll kill you here and now before you get a chance to gather crewmates and attack towns like this." And then Boodle just kind of holds back Nami. He's like, "Hey, stop it, girl." And Luffy just kind of sits there and just kind of like thinks to himself. And then Luffy just kind of like sticks out his tongue and just kind of says, as if you could beat me. And he's like, what? And then just like, now he just keeps yelling, let's find out then, shall we? Damn pirate. And then like Boodle's just saying, would you two cut it out? And Luffy just kind of walks up and places like a box of dog food right in front of like Shushu, and Shushu kind of notices. And even Nami's like, what? As he just kind of like sees this action in front of her. Luffy just kind of sits down and says, this was the only thing left. He ate all the rest. And Shushu's just kind of like thinking to himself. And Nami then just kind of thinks he went to fight that lion just for the dog. And Luffy just kind of says, you did good. You put up quite a fight. Now, that's not that I was there to see it, but I can tell. And then Shushu just kind of like grabs the box, picks it up, and just begins to like kind of like walk with his little feet. And then he just kind of turns to look back at Luffy for a bit. And he just kind of goes like, woof. And then Luffy's like, yeah, good luck to you too. And then Shushu's just going, woof, woof. And this just causes Nami to have like her face kind of like drops, and it just kind of has like a little like smile to it as she kind of sees this display from like Luffy. And then it kind of cuts to like near like the pub, and Buggy's like, Monji was defeated? And he's like, yes, Captain. And then he yells, prepare all the remaining special Buggy balls. This joke is over. We're gonna blow this town to smithereens. I'll wipe it clear off the map. And that was the end of the chapter. And then it cuts to this last little page right here, which is like, I'm gonna show it in multiple parts, but it's kind of like a question and answer thing where it shows like translation notes mainly, and then it shows like the original publication. This is from Weekly Jump number 47. That's on November 1997. Yeah, One Piece is an old series. It's pretty old. And then it kind of shows like a translation saying page 12, panel 2, bubble number 1, and it kind of says Tushi means hammer or mallet. So it could be Gomu Gomu no hammer, Gomu Gomu no mallet. And then the bottom, it says honorifics. And before we get to those, it shows a little thing in cover where Luffy's wearing like an alternate outfit, which is pretty cool. I kind of like it. It's kind of like, it has like a yellow kind of like skull to it. I think it's like, is that Halloween inspired? Might be a little bit Halloween inspired, maybe a little bit, but like it looks pretty cool. And then it just kind of shows like honorific. So this is some like Japanese words we're gonna learn together. So Chan is female diminutive, generally used with little kids, particularly little girls, and can also be used with teenage girls or among close relatives in a cute or endearing way. Kun. That's how I pronounce it, like kun. Because I don't want to pronounce it the other way because it sounds a little derogatory for me, so I'm just gonna say it the other way. Kun is male is like the male version, generally used for boys or to a person of a lower status, such as a teacher or student. It can also be used with teenage boys or by females to their male peers. San is the standard like way of saying Mr. or Miss, but lacking gender association, used for peers, acquaintance, people socially higher than you, and or people you don't know as a sign of respect. Senpai, used for colleagues in school, computer, company, sports, or activity that are at a higher level. Can also be used by itself with the same meaning. Sama is very honorable, significant, more respectful version of san, primarily used for addressing people much higher in rank or someone of great admiration. And then Donna. Archic, honorable, roughly meaning lord or master, but does not equate to noble status and lies between san and sama in respect. So that is some like nice little Japanese words that we just kind of post. And overall for this chapter, I really enjoy this. Again, it kind of like so we already have one of the main kind of like villains of this arc defeated in Monji, getting absolutely dog walked by Luffy. Shushu put up a great fight again, earning his title for being the goodest boy in all of anime, really. And then even then, just like Luffy showing off, like he doesn't have like he has more emotions than just like kind of like happy go lucky. He has like anger, and it's kind of shown as he just kind of yells like, "I came back here to kick his ass." That's literally his main purpose of like running back with Monji. Then even at the end of it, it's just like Nami just being back is like she naturally assumes like the worst in Luffy, thinking like, oh, he's just here to gather more crewmates just so he can terrorize towns. But in reality, he beat Moji just so he can give Shushu back the box of dog food that was taken from his store. So and like kind of like this kind of makes like at least like Nami kind of think, oh, maybe Luffy's not such a bad guy. And then at the end of it, where like Buggy just kind of says like, oh yeah, no, we're gonna like cause a lot of damage across the town because he's just flat out done with us. Overall, pretty good job there. And yeah, and as I said before, make sure to like and subscribe. Again, it really helps me out in terms of like making content and that sort of stuff. And also check out my TikTok where I post like mainly anime topics. I may just go over what my favorite pages. I haven't really done much of like a subtopic in a while, which I might do tonight. I might just release one for the fun of it. But yeah, no, check it out. And then check out my TikTok, AP Beans 2. And I'm signing out. Later, everyone.